Hello, this is Eric Binion from artablog.com, and this is video 4 of the WordPress Rockstar series. By now, we've already talked about why you would want to use WordPress. We've talked about installing WordPress, we've talked about plugins and themes, and we even built a website from scratch using the Genesis framework and the Focus Child theme. So by now, you may be wondering, what the heck do I do now? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 3 things that you can walk away with that can help you get started on the path to a successful blog. Now keep in mind that these are not the only 3 things that you can be doing. There are plenty more, but this will give you a solid start. So we're going to cover content generation ideas, we're going to cover ethical bribes and building an audience, and then we're also going to cover comment moderation. So let's get started. First up is content generation ideas. Now, since you're starting your blog, you obviously have a few ideas. But I think you'll find that as you jump through those, it becomes more difficult every single time to come up with more ideas. And even sometimes I feel like I'm just rehashing just an old topic that I've already covered. So let's go through a few of my favorite things. First up is Prismatic. Now, Prismatic is it's essentially a news aggregator service. It's somewhat similar to Google Reader, except for the fact that you don't go out there and select individual blogs. What you do is you select a topic, and Prismatic has already found the blogs that kind of fit that topic. So once you select these topics, you've created a special news feed that is filled with only those interests you have. And the cool thing is Prismatic even allows you to narrow down your interest. So let me go ahead and show you what my interests look like. I'll come up here, let's hit interests. We'll try. All right. So as you can see, there's blogs and blogging, there's social media, there's web development, there's typography, there's anything design, anything technology, entrepreneurship, and it goes on. 73 different interests, right? And this fits, my personality, and then also the personality that I try to portray in business and blogging. I blog about everything from development to marketing to blogging itself, right? So it makes sense that those are my interests. But also, I like to dabble in photography, and it's something I want to teach myself. So I have fun in that. So not only am I creating a news feed with all these interests, so it's not only for my personal but for business, I'm also able to, narrow down to a specific interest, which is great for, let's say you're looking for an article for a certain blog. You can narrow it down. So let's say I'm looking for an article for Art of Blog. I can come down here to blogs and blogging and just click that. And right here, there's so many articles that are going to be targeted to that niche. So Locker Gnome writes about the challenges facing professional bloggers. So what I might do in this instance is I might check out what he wrote. I might read through this and see what he thought. And then what I could do to get a topic idea is I could make responses to either things I agree with or things I disagree with. Let's say I agree with everything he wrote. Well, what I could do is I could write a post that goes through and adds topics. So maybe I think there's more challenges that he didn't include. The idea here is it's not okay to steal. It's never okay to steal, an idea or the words exactly. But when you're taking a topic and you're adding to the conversation, that is okay. And that's what we're shooting for with this method right here. So I could go through and I could do that with other websites down here, other articles that I like, impact of blogging and online influencers. That looks nice. So I would check that article out. All right, but there's other methods. This is great, but this relies on stuff that other people have already come up with. let's try to find a way to generate our own content ideas. So one of the methods I like for doing this is checking out analytics. So since you're a beginning blogger, and this is an introduction to blogging, make sure that from the beginning you have your analytics. But once you've got it installed and you've got some data back there, you can come down here to audience and you can come to traffic sources. And that'll give you an overview of all of your traffic. Now this is basically a temporary website I threw up last May for an event in my city. And as you can see, it received a few hundred visits a day. And down here is the interesting part. We can get all the keywords that were searched to get to this website. So let's go more. Let's say 250. Let it load. All right, so these are all the keywords that people actually typed in and to get to this website. But this isn't very helpful. It's all pretty much Shrinefest and basically the title of the website, right? So let's check out my personal website. These are all my keywords. Let's go to view for report. Let's go to 500. All right, and as you can see, we have UI web view storyboard, We have UI web view tutorial, Xcode 4.3. We have UI web view Xcode 4.3 loading video. So the idea here is, maybe I created, my post was how to use UI WebView or how to do a UI WebView. It's something in programming. Well, as people are searching this is something that people are genuinely looking for, that I could write a certain article that, although similar to a previous article, it's targeted to these people. Right here would be a perfect example. How to create custom overlays, iOS. Well, I can go write an article right now that explains how to create a custom overlay in iOS. And this is something that other people, they don't have access to this information. This is something that only I have access to, and so it's kind of an upper hand to come in through your analytics and get these ideas. I highly recommend this method. One of my other tools that I use to do something similar is HitTail. All right, and so what we're looking at right now are some of the most searched keywords on Art of Blog. I installed this tool on Art of Blog, I believe several months ago, and I left it on there for a week, and I let it analyze our keywords because it gives, I guess, keyword ideas, and they even have a way for you to buy article writing. Maybe worth it. But what we're looking at now is a much more visual representation of, I guess, your most searched keywords. And I'm not going to show you all, but you can see the top view, and you'll see that these make sense since we are a blog about blogging, right? But where the money is made and where you're going to get more traffic is as you go down. You're going to see more ideas, that more unique search terms that people used. And HitTail is it's very affordable. I highly recommend it if you don't like the analytics way of going about it. Either way is good. So my last content generation method is staying very, very social and connected to your niche. So there's two ways of going about this. Obviously, you can use social networking. If you're doing anything with blogging or tech or I'd say almost anything, honestly, it's probably best if you're on Twitter. I don't find many conversations going on Facebook. Pretty much everything I see is on Twitter. And to help with that, I found this website called TweetChat that you're able to, they have whole chats on Twitter, not just mentioning one person, but they will have a chat with dozens of people. And this is a really good tool to get on and, I guess, get connected to other bloggers or other photographers or whatever your niche is. This way you're getting an idea of what people are interested in. You can get ideas for content. You can get ideas for maybe new products or more information, more, I guess, just industry news. And you might get it before anyone else. All right, and so now let's talk about ethical bribes. All right, ethical bribe is basically where you give a reader something in return for them giving you their email. You'll see this for corporate websites. You'll see this for blogs. You'll see it for people that do services. Basically, any time that you're trying to get an email, you should probably give away something free. It just lowers that burden of, I guess, trust. If you're giving away something for free, I almost always, if I am willing to give my email if I want your product. All right, so let me give you a couple of examples of this. First up is artablog.com. All right, so our audience is wanting to know more about blogging. They're wanting to know more about marketing, and more than likely, they want to know more about how to make money with blogging. All right, so our ethical bribe is basically we're going to give them a plugin for free that helps them get information about their audience. We're going to give them a free WordPress theme, and then we're going to give them exclusive access to an interview with Nick Reese, the owner of Artablog, who built a nearly $1 million per year business with blogging and affiliate marketing. And the way this is worded, you can see how it makes it very easily to enter your name and email. I mean, you're getting all that for just the cost of your email, right? The other great thing is you may put, and I realize this now, but I could probably put something like 100% no spam guaranteed, remove your email at any time, right? This could help make you seem more approachable and trustworthy. But this is not the only example. Let's also look at Social Triggers. Social Triggers is owned by Derek Halberd. He's probably one of the most well-known internet marketers online right now. And this is his ethical bribe up top. He asks people if they know what makes other people tick online, and he basically just offers to give them updates. Now, Derek can afford to do this because he's built up a pretty large name for himself in just a couple years with this website. And he kind of had audience before this. He doesn't necessarily give anything away for free. He just makes it convenient for people to sign up for his email list. Also notice how the subscription letter is placed. It's up here in the feature area up top. It's above the fold meaning that it's one of the first things you see when you load the page. Also notice how Derek, he also has the subscription form in the top right of the sidebar. And he also has it in this tab right here, the free updates tab. All right. If I remember right, he might have it on the about page too. Yes, he does. So Derek does a great job of putting the subscription form on multiple pages. And this works for him. He's been able to build his email list. All right, and so now let's talk about comment moderation. This is kind of a touchy subject because when it's brought up, purists always seem to say, just leave whatever comments are out there. Comments should not be modified. But in reality, the issue is there's just a ton of comments that are spam, and the other comments that if they're not legit, then they're pretty hateful at times. So my number one rule has been approve a comment if it adds to the conversation. My number two rule is approve a comment if someone leaves an email and preferably a website also. That rule is sometimes bent if as I said, the comment adds to the conversation. If it's a critical comment, I do require that the website be in the comment. This way I know it's not necessarily from a competing person. I can judge that it's more of an honest comment. So I don't think we're going to learn much by just going through the approved comments here. The one thing I'll say is that all of these comments pretty much add to the conversation. They do a great job of that. What I will do is I'll come up here through the spam comments, right? These are comments that were either marked as spam by Kismet or comments that I've marked as spam. Now, this says, can you message me with any techniques on the way you created your internet site? Search this good. Identification be appreciative. Now, notice this URL right here. Notice how it's really awkward. It's not a normal URL. It also says Microsoft Point Generator. Notice the language of the comment. It just doesn't jive right. And it doesn't really add to the conversation of this article right here, which is nobody cares what you say on your website. This has nothing that just goes with that topic. Marks for spam right away. This is another one. Thanks for your inquiry. That's really cool. Please keep moving like this. Again, this does nothing to add to the conversation of the nobody cares what you say on your website. Also, if we come over here, the website doesn't seem to really match the topic either. This is a comment that it really could have been marked either spam or trash, but due to the language, it seems like they were just trying to get something approved. This right here, if there's several links in there and this one says payday loan, that's a no-brainer. That was probably marked by a Kismet. This one is right here. It says, I tend not to leave a response, but I browse through a few responses on this page. I actually have 2 questions for you. He says, is it only me or do some of the comments look as if they are left by brain-dead people? Wow, really? The thing to point out now is that now a lot of spammers are getting kind of smart, and they're not just link dropping in their comments. They're doing somewhat hateful comments, which come off as it's kind of authentic at first. You know, the first time I saw one, I was like, what is this? But again, I went ahead and I marked it for spam because it just doesn't add to the conversation. It's a bit hateful. This website comes up file not found, and it just doesn't really add to the conversation. All the above, right? These were probably marked by a Kismet. So let's go to the trash. Well, honestly, this is I don't know why this was marked for trash. I'm going to go ahead and restore that one. This one, first of all, it's a YouTube video, which means they're probably trying to build the ranking on that video. This one I trashed because I wasn't sure if it was spam, but I didn't want to approve it. I didn't want it sitting in the queue either. Mainly because of the language. It says excellent post, checking this blog constantly, impressed. I maintain such info much. It just doesn't add to the conversation, so it does not get approved. It just went to trash instead. Clicking here, great info. Lucky me, came across your website by chance. Saved as a favorite for later. Cool. Travel Pura, maybe. This is something I come through every now and then, and I might change my mind. It's all right, guys, and so that does it for video 4. As you can see, we've talked about creating content ideas. We've talked about ethical bribes, and we've talked about comment moderation. But there's really just a lot more that you can do to create a successful blog. What I recommend is try to find successful bloggers in the space, definitely in the industry. I recommend you subscribe to Art of Blog to get updates that we post. There should be some good things in store. All right, guys, and on that, we're going to stop. All right, guys, so that does it with video 4 of the WordPress Rockstar series, which wraps up the series. All right, guys, that does it for this video. In this video, we covered content generation, we covered ethical bribes and building an audience, and we covered some comment moderation. That wraps up not only video 4, but also the series. What I recommend you doing now is I would recommend for sure having a Twitter and following influential bloggers. Definitely follow the Art of Blog Twitter. I also recommend you subscribing to Art of Blog and maybe a few other influential bloggers in your industry. If you need any help with this, feel free to get me on Twitter or email artablog, and I'd be happy to answer them.